I used to spend $249 a month on lunch alone. This was not because I was going out to fancy places or eating with friends all the time. This was just for lunch. Fast food every day, maybe a couple coffees a week, and it was over $249 every single month. At the time, I didn't even realize how much I was spending because I wasn't really tracking my budget. Now looking back on it, I realize how much I was spending each week just because I wasn't planning ahead. Meal prepping is life-changing, and I don't say that to be dramatic. I say it because it's literally changed my week, it's changed my structure, and it's helped me feel less stressed, feel better because of what I'm eating, and also save money. I used to not meal prep because I thought that I didn't have the time and that it was a waste of time, and fast food is cheap, so why do I need to meal prep? But I also realized I love coffee, and I was spending a lot of money on coffees each week too, going to coffee shops in the area, which, as you know, are expensive. So for all those reasons, I wasn't meal prepping. I was kind of just eating leftovers or scrounging around with whatever I had left from previous meals, or throwing a sandwich together, things like that, in order to eat for the day. And this was a nightly ritual. I'm having to figure it out the night before, right before I'm going to bed, or in some of the time when I would rather be doing things that I enjoy. I'm having to figure out what I'm going to eat for lunch the next day. With that $249 a month I was spending on lunch and coffee, that breaks down to about $15 a day that I was spending on that. I usually work on a 4-day per week schedule with a half day on Fridays. So because of that, I don't really prep on Fridays, which is why that math works out the way it does. But like I said, about $15 a day I'm spending whenever I was eating out and getting coffee out all the time. Now that I'm meal prepping, I spend less than $5 every day for each meal. And that's counting all 3 meals: full breakfast, full lunch, full dinner, coffee every day. I just home make everything, and that's only about $15 for the day, rather than just $15 for lunch and the coffee. Now, why did I change? If I didn't know how much I was spending, what took me to that step of making meal prepping a part of my weekly routine? And to be honest, it was not anything I chose or did. It was something that my wife encouraged us to do. She had meal prepped in the past and was a big fan of it. And whenever we got married, she asked if we could start trying meal prepping, and I got on board with trying. And ultimately, the first couple of tries were a little rough. I was not a big fan of meal prep. It would make me frustrated because we're spending time on the weekend when we could be hanging out, watching a movie, doing something fun, and instead we are planning for the week, meal prepping, grocery shopping, all those things that I wasn't doing before. So it felt like I was losing time on the weekend. So I was not a big fan of meal prepping from the beginning. However, my wife was a big fan. I wanted to do it for her. And so after a few weeks of doing it, I started to realize the benefits. And these came throughout the week whenever I was at work and I knew I could have a great lunch that I didn't have to worry about, didn't have to pay for. I'm a frugal person, so it's easy for me to be motivated by saving money. So the fact that I wasn't buying lunch every day, wasn't buying coffee every day, really spoke to me. And also the bigger thing for me too, even bigger than the money, was not having to decide. I am a naturally indecisive person, so not having to decide every single day what to eat for lunch was fantastic. And also, whenever I say that we're, cooking these meals for about $5 per meal or even less, this is not Hamburger Helper. It's really good food, quality ingredients, quality items. We're eating some sort of meat, some sort of grain, and lots of vegetables and fruits every single day. It's real food. It's not pre-made. It's everything from chicken breast to salmon, and we are able to do that even within this budget because of the way that we meal prep and also where we shop. So we weren't super strict with it. We didn't make this a chore or something that we had to, punish ourselves if we didn't complete, but we were consistent with it. So we are flexible with our time. We're flexible with where we fit in meal prepping throughout the week. However, we just make sure that we do it every single week in some form. And if we have a busy weekend, there's times when we will do it on a different day than we normally do, or we will or we'll intentionally choose meals that are easier to make, that don't take as much time, don't take as much prep. We definitely make it work for our schedule, and we don't live enslaved to this idea of meal prepping, but we make sure that we do it every single week. And that has been the biggest thing that's made the difference. And I'm not kidding. Whenever you start doing it, you'll realize how much better your week is. Just not having to worry about it. Food is ready and good to go. We love looking in our refrigerator at the end of meal prep sessions on Sunday and just seeing a full fridge packed with little containers of food. It just makes us feel so prepared and gets rid of all the anxiety that comes with figuring out what to eat and making sure we're all ready for the week. So it just helps us immediately be in a better mental state going into the week as well. So it's not always glamorous. Our meal preps can be tiring. It can take a while. Your feet hurt. We don't always have glamorous looking meals. They always taste good. They're always, we try to make them balanced with, proteins, vegetables, fruits and grains, all the things that we need. However, we're not rich, so we're not making glamorous high-end meals all the time, but it's great and it's better than fast food. It tastes better, it makes you feel better, and it's definitely well worth your time to be able to make all those decisions up front, decide all the meals you're gonna have throughout the week. Yes, you're still making the same number of decisions for all those meals, but when you do them together, it's just like, an assembly line. You're doing the same portion of your week all at once, over and over, and it helps you to get those pieces done quicker than if you spread them out throughout the week. So you kind of get into that mindset one time. What are we gonna eat? What do we have in the pantry? You take inventory, figure it all out, make your list, go shop. That's all one setting, so that once you're done, you know exactly what you're prepping for the week, you know exactly what you're eating for the week, and that's all completely done and decided all at once, rather than day by day saying, what do we want to eat for lunch? What do we want to eat for dinner? What are we gonna have for breakfast? Oh no, we don't have any breakfast. You don't run into those issues either as much, because you have way more preparation and plans that inform your week and make sure that you're prepared for all the meals that you'll need to be eating at home. Because ultimately deciding what to eat is the hardest part. So having that all done on the weekend, though sometimes that part is hard, even still after, over a year of meal prepping consistently. But once you have that done, it really does pay off in the long run. And there's definitely significant delayed gratification from that decision process on the front end. You're kind of doing the hard part first so that you can coast through the rest of the week and enjoy the fruit of your labor. So what are the biggest payoffs for meal prepping? I think there's really three main payoffs. The first one obviously is saving money. You can't really argue with the fact that we're saving a good amount of money from meal prepping. We spend about $460 a month on groceries, which I know that's gonna vary for everybody. We happen to live in a lower cost of living area, so we're able to get things at a lower price than you might be able to. We also shop at Aldi, which helps us cut costs a lot. They're not a sponsor at all. I just happen to love that store. We are able to eat pretty much anything we want every week and still keep it within our budget because we shop at Aldi. The second thing that it saves you is time. Like I said, batching those decisions and batching all of your cooking saves time throughout the week. We happen to do it on Sunday afternoons. It's the time of the week that we're normally free, so we're able to crank it out in a couple of hours rather than spreading it out throughout the week or having to wake up earlier every day. And the third thing that I think it helps with is just mental clarity. You don't have those looming decisions in front of you all day. Even though they're small, what to eat is a small decision, but as you know, probably from experience, those can pile up, and when you have those each day, it's kind of just this constant looming thought in the back of your mind, what are we going to eat? What are we going to do for this thing? What are we going to do for that meal? And this takes some of that away, which is just fantastic. So the biggest piece of advice I have for you if you're starting meal prepping is to make it easy on yourself. So find what works for you, make it the lowest level of resistance for you possible. Find the time that works for you for groceries and planning your meals for the week. Find the time that works for you for meal prepping, and then stick to that routine and make it as easy as possible for you each day. So one thing that we like to do is in the evening, we'll take maybe 5 minutes, maybe even less, and we'll prepare dishes and cups and to-go cups for our coffee and different things like that. And we'll get it all prepared and ready in our kitchen so that we can wake up the next morning completely ready to go. Breakfast just has to be heated up and coffee's made. So that's a small thing. It maybe saves us, 5 minutes in the morning, but anything you can do like that to save will help you stay consistent with it whenever you kind of feel the resistance, because it is a habit just like anything else that's going to take time for you to build up. A lot of meal prepping videos and things, they make it very glamorous, they make it seem super easy, like you can get it done in 20 minutes for the whole week. And maybe some people can do that, but the reality is for us, it takes a few hours every week. And that's even with my wife and I doing it together. Now, do I still think it's definitely worth that time? I do. However, I just want to make sure that you know that this does take some time. Sometimes I don't want to do it, but I always know that it will pay off and I will be glad that I did in the long run. All right, so this is not a fix-all solution. There are many things that come into this. It's going to look different for every person. However, if you want to take back some of your time and some of your money that you don't even know you're spending, just take inventory. See what you're spending on lunch. See what you're spending on dinner. Kind of crunch some numbers. See where you can tighten things up and strategize for what meal prepping could look like for you. If you're a single person, it's going to look different than if you have a partner with you. There's advantages to having a second person to help, but also you're having to cook and buy for 2 people as well. So there's definitely pros and cons of each, and it can be done by anyone, whether you're single or married or have a partner. You can definitely do this and work it into your schedule, and I recommend it. If you had known me 2 years ago, you'd be surprised at how positively I'm speaking of meal prepping now. I had never done it before in my life, and now 2 years later, I can't imagine my life without it because of how much time and money it saves us each week. Also, if you know any other meal prep techniques that are great, or anything else that saves time and money throughout the week for you with food specifically and meal prepping, or how you plan your week and your meals, feel free to share those in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback and what you do, and hopefully some of this helps you as well. If you're interested in following along through this journey that I'm on of creating financial independence and taking back time and money out of my schedule that I'm losing through inefficient ways and the traditional 9 to 5, please give a like and subscribe below. I'd love to have you join me on this journey. I'm pursuing financial independence through creative means, and I'd love to continue this conversation in future videos. So I'll see you next time.